My abusive ex stalked every man who talked to me, until I started dating a pro fighter. My name is Lauren Pierce. I'm 28 years old, and for 2 years after I left my ex, I lived like I was being watched. Not paranoid watched. Actually watched. 3 years ago, I finally ended a 4.5-year relationship with Evan Brooks. On the surface, it looked like a normal breakup. No screaming match. No dramatic fight. Just me packing my things and leaving while he was at work. What I didn't understand then was that leaving him didn't mean freedom. It meant escalation. I met Evan when I was 22. We were both living in Boulder, Colorado, and I just graduated college. He was older than me by 6 years, confident, well-spoken, and very good at saying the right things. "You don't try too hard," he told me on our second date. That's rare. At the time, I thought that meant he liked me for who I was. Now I know it meant he liked that I was easy to mold. The beginning was perfect. Texts every morning. Flowers for no reason. Long talks about the future. He listened to everything I said. Remembered details. Made me feel chosen. People warned me it was fast. I ignored them. By 6 months in, Evan had opinions about everything. My clothes. My friends. My schedule. Nothing obvious. Nothing aggressive. Just comments. "That dress gets a lot of attention. Do you really need to see them again this weekend? I just worry people take advantage of you." If I pushed back, he didn't argue. He withdrew. And that was worse. No texts. No calls. Just cold silence until I apologized. Even when I didn't know what I was apologizing for. By year 2, my world had gotten smaller. I stopped going out without him. I stopped posting online. I stopped talking about work around him because it made him tense. He didn't like that I worked in tech. "Too many guys," he said once. "They don't respect boundaries." If a male coworker messaged me, Evan needed to see it. He framed it as trust. If there's nothing to hide, it shouldn't be a problem. So I showed him. Again and again. It happened over something stupid. I wore a sleeveless top to a friend's birthday dinner. When we got home, Evan didn't speak to me. At all. Not that night. Not the next morning. Not the next day. On day 3, I broke. "What did I do?" I asked. He looked at me like I was slow. "You embarrassed me." That was the moment I felt something crack inside my chest. But I stayed. Because I thought love meant enduring. 4 years in, I got a promotion at work. Instead of celebrating, Evan accused me of flirting my way into it. That night, for the first time, I didn't apologize. I packed a bag and stayed with a friend. 3 weeks later, I moved into my own apartment in Denver. I didn't tell him where. I blocked him. I thought that was it. The day after I moved, I went grocery shopping. I was standing in the produce aisle when a guy made a joke about how avocados were luxury items now. I laughed. That's it. That was the crime. 2 hours later, Evan was pounding on my apartment door. "I saw you," he yelled. "I saw that guy talking to you." My heart dropped into my stomach. I hadn't given him my address. I called the cops. By the time they arrived, Evan was calm, smiling, apologetic. He told them I was emotional, that we'd just broken up, that he only wanted to check on me. They told him to leave. They told me to block him and give it time. I watched his car drive away and realized something terrifying. He wasn't done. The second time was at a coffee shop. The barista made small talk. Nothing flirty. That night, all 4 of his tires were slashed. The third time was at my gym. A guy asked if I was finished with a machine. Evan followed him into the parking lot and warned him to stay away. Security banned Evan from the property. It didn't matter. He always found another way. I stopped smiling at people. I stopped making eye contact. I stopped existing. For 2 years, every man near me became a potential target. And Evan knew it. That was the point. If Evan had hit me, I could have pointed to bruises. If he'd broken my things, I could have shown the damage. Instead, he broke my sense of safety, and there was no evidence for that. Just patterns. And fear. After the grocery store incident, I started noticing how carefully Evan operated. He never touched me. Never threatened me directly. Never left proof. Everything he did was indirect. Calculated. If a man spoke to me for more than 30 seconds, something happened. Not immediately, but soon enough. It became a rule I never agreed to but was forced to follow. Men around Lauren get punished. The second major incident happened on a Tuesday morning. I stopped at a local coffee shop near my office. Same place I'd gone to for years. I ordered my drink, waited at the counter. The barista was young. Maybe 19 or 20. Polite, awkward, clearly just doing his job. Busy morning? He asked while steaming milk. Always, I replied. That was it. No flirting. No lingering. Nothing. When I left, I didn't see Evan anywhere. That night, while scrolling Instagram, I saw a post from the shop's account. Closed early today due to an incident. Back tomorrow. The next morning, when I went in, the same barista wasn't there. I asked another employee what happened. He found his car messed up after his shift, she said. All 4 tires slashed. My stomach dropped. The barista never came back. I changed gyms after that. The new one was bigger. More crowded. I thought that would make me safer. I was wrong. A guy asked if I was done with a leg press machine. Yeah, I said. All yours. 30 minutes later, the front desk manager tapped me on the shoulder. Do you know a man named Evan? My blood went cold. They'd caught him on security footage following the guy into the parking lot, getting in his face, telling him to stay away from my girlfriend. I hadn't been his girlfriend in over a year. They banned Evan from the gym. He didn't care. I finally went to court. I brought screenshots, dates, witness statements. The judge listened politely, then asked, Did he ever threaten you directly? No. Did he touch you? No. Did he violate your property? No. The request was denied. Evan smiled at me on the way out. Not a big smile. Just enough. That was when I stopped fighting. Not because I wanted to. Because I was exhausted. I stopped going out after work. Stopped making friends. Stopped dating. I didn't smile at men. Didn't make eye contact. Didn't speak unless spoken to. I became invisible on purpose. I was 26 years old and living like a ghost. The worst part wasn't the fear. It was the guilt. Every time something happened to a man near me, I blamed myself. If I hadn't smiled. If I hadn't spoken. If I just stayed home. That's how Evan controlled me. He made my existence dangerous. The day my phone shattered, I was already on edge. I dropped it on concrete outside my office and watched the screen spiderweb into nothing. I stood there staring at it like it was a sign. I almost cried. I walked into the nearest repair shop without thinking. That's where I met Noah Reyes. Noah didn't flirt. Didn't hover. Didn't act impressed or intimidating. He just fixed my phone and told me to breathe. He was huge, yes, but calm. Controlled. Grounded. When he handed my phone back and refused to charge me full price, I felt something unfamiliar. Relief. Then I stepped outside. And saw Evan across the street. Watching. I spent the rest of that day sick with anxiety. I expected the shop to be vandalized. Expected Noah to be threatened. Expected consequences. They never came. I checked the shop's reviews. Their social media. Local police blotters. Nothing. Evan never let things go. Silence meant strategy. And for the first time, I wondered, what if he'd finally met someone he couldn't intimidate? That thought scared me more than anything else. I didn't see Noah again for a week. That was intentional. Not because I didn't want to. Because I was terrified of what would happen if I did. Evan's silence sat heavy in my chest. No texts. No showing up. No threats whispered through someone else. Just nothing. Which meant he was watching. The following Saturday, I went to the farmer's market near my apartment. I almost didn't go. Crowds made me nervous now. Too many exits to track. Too many places for Evan to stand unnoticed. But I needed groceries, and I refused to let fear starve me. I was picking up apples when I heard a familiar voice. Lauren. I turned. Noah. He was dressed casually. Jeans, a hoodie, sunglasses pushed up into his hair. No uniform. No badge. Nothing that explained why my shoulders relaxed the second I saw him. Hey, I said, surprised I didn't sound shaky. Didn't expect to see you here, he said. Your phone holding up? Yeah. Thanks again. We stood there awkwardly, the way people do when they don't want to leave but don't want to overstep either. I'm grabbing coffee, he said finally. If you want. I hesitated. Every instinct screamed don't. But another voice, smaller, angrier, said I was tired of shrinking. Okay, I said. We sat at a picnic table with paper cups between us. No flirting. No probing questions. Just conversation. Until Noah tilted his head slightly. You keep checking your reflection, he said. My stomach tightened. I do. Yeah. Windows. Car doors. Phone screens. I froze. You expecting someone? I almost lied. Then I remembered how tired I was. Yes, I said. My ex. Noah didn't react the way people usually did. No sympathy face. No advice dump. No disbelief. Just a quiet nod. He following you? Yes. That was when he told me what he did for a living. I'm a private security contractor, he said. Used to be law enforcement. It explained everything. The calm. The awareness. The way he stood. My chest tightened. I'm sorry, I said automatically. You should probably stay away from me. Noah leaned back in his chair. No, he said. Your ex should. Evan didn't wait long. 3 days later, Noah found him outside the repair shop after closing. Waiting. Evan spoke first. You've been spending time with my girlfriend. Noah didn't raise his voice. You should leave. Evan smiled. You don't know who you're dealing with. Noah stepped closer. I do, he said. And you're done. That was it. No shouting. No threats. No witnesses. Evan walked away. For the first time in 2 years, nothing happened after. No vandalism. No threats. No punishment. Evan stopped showing up. Stopped watching. Stopped controlling my world. It was like a switch flipped. What I didn't know was that Evan had made one last mistake. He'd underestimated how much evidence he'd left behind, and how patient someone like Noah could be. Evan didn't disappear overnight. He just stopped being loud, which somehow was worse. For weeks after the confrontation with Noah, nothing happened. No sightings. No messages. No accidental run-ins. I should have felt relieved. Instead, I felt like prey waiting for the snap of a trap. Noah didn't tell me what he was doing at first. He didn't want to scare me, or give me hope too soon. But one evening, after we'd been seeing each other quietly for a month, he placed a thin folder on my kitchen table. Everything he's done, Noah said. Documented. Inside were dates, times, camera stills, statements, patterns I'd lived through but never been able to prove. The grocery store, the coffee shop, the gym, the repair shop. Every coincidence suddenly had structure. Evan had been sloppy. He just hadn't expected anyone to look closely. Evan had used the same car more than once. Same license plate. Same routes. Same timing. He thought varying locations was enough. It wasn't. Noah had quietly pulled public footage, requested business cameras, and spoken to people Evan thought had forgotten. They hadn't. They'd just been scared. The barista came forward. So did the guy from the gym. And the man from the grocery store. Once one person talked, others followed. Not because they were brave, but because they finally weren't alone. The courtroom felt different this time. Evan didn't smile. Didn't look at me. The judge did. Longer than before. This shows a clear pattern of harassment and intimidation, she said. The restraining order was granted. Then something else happened. The DA asked for more time. Evan's phone told the rest of the story. Tracking apps. Location logs. Deleted messages recovered. 2 years of obsession. 2 years of control. 2 years of me thinking I was crazy. Evan didn't go to prison, but he didn't walk free either. Probation. Mandatory counseling. A permanent protective order. And a record. For the first time, his charm didn't work. I didn't cry in the courtroom. I cried in my car afterward. Not from relief. From grief. For the woman I'd been before him. Freedom didn't arrive all at once. There was no dramatic moment where I woke up and felt safe. It came in small, almost boring ways. And that's how I knew it was real. The first time I realized Evan was truly gone, it wasn't during a court hearing or a conversation. It was at a gas station. A man stood behind me in line and made a comment about how expensive everything had gotten. I laughed. Then I froze. I waited for the familiar spike of panic. The mental countdown. The fear of retaliation. It never came. I paid. I left. Nothing happened. I sat in my car afterward and cried so hard my chest hurt. Evan took years of my life. He took my confidence, my sense of ease, my ability to trust the world around me. But he didn't take my ability to rebuild. That part stayed. Quiet. Bruised. But intact. People always ask about Noah. They want a fairy tale ending. The truth is quieter than that. We didn't rush. We didn't pretend trauma disappears because someone good shows up. We took it slow. We respected boundaries. We communicated like adults who'd seen enough damage to know better. He never tried to save me. He just stood there while I saved myself. I smile at strangers again. I make eye contact. I exist without calculating consequences. I go places without scanning reflections. That might sound small. It isn't. It's everything. I'm telling this because abuse doesn't always leave bruises. Sometimes it leaves patterns. Sometimes it looks like coincidence. Sometimes it sounds like people telling you to just move on. If you're reading this and recognizing your own life and mine, know this. You're not imagining it. You're not dramatic. And you're not weak. You're surviving. And survival is the first step back to yourself. Leaving didn't make him stop. But it did make his behavior visible. And that's what ended it.